whole dilemma between a watchful AI, between AI and human beings, and whether AI will replace human beings or complement human beings. So we'll start with that question, and I'll request Richa to share her views.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to share my views. I think AI is definitely the buzzword. It's probably the biggest thing that has ever happened in all our working careers, as I see it. Now, I think there are a lot of fears associated with the concept of artificial intelligence and how that interacts with human beings, because workforces, workplaces are all about human beings today. There are significant fears. When I talk to my team, I talk to the business, I talk to the CEO. The fear is around job displacement. Will AI take over my job someday? Other fears also include what is going to be the social impact at large of mass scale AI rollout. I think we had a tipping point last year when Gen AI became the buzzword, and everybody suddenly started logging into ChatGPT to do all the small things that we do on a regular basis. So I think these are fears which are stemming from the way we have always operated, and change is tough. It's really messy to begin with, and as human beings we are wired to not change. So I think that is just basic human psychology. But having said that, I also want to open up this conversation a little bit to move beyond the fear, because fear is only telling us how we've done things so far. When it comes to job displacement, will AI take over jobs? Possibly yes, but what it will do is it will take over jobs which are, I would say, non-value adding, helping humans therefore move to more value adding roles, I think, over time. Of course, there is a fear around that, so I'm mindful of that. There is also a fear around how this would play out at scale when it comes to upskilling, for example. So the pace at which AI learns versus a human being can learn is extremely different. It's exponentially different, right? So that in itself induces a lot of anxiety as an average human being. Like, how do we even keep track or keep pace with something like that? To my mind, I think human beings are wired to learn, and I think I go back to a favorite concept of mine called growth mindset. If we can continue to grow, continue to adapt in the jobs and the roles and the skills that we have, more importantly, because we are at a point in time in history where things are moving from however we've known it to exist in workforces to skills. Can you build skills faster than ever before? Can you think of maybe 4 or 5 careers in your entire lifespan instead of just one career? So I think we're moving towards those things as we evolve. I want to sort of conclude by saying I did have the opportunity to meet Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. How many of you heard of Dr. Marshall Goldsmith? I'm sure a lot. Yeah, great. So I met him last month in Mumbai. And I think he stands for a lot of self-work, human development, professional capability building, right? And he's done that across the world with CEOs, CXOs of the topmost organizations you can name. He said, my legacy work today is an AI-enabled marshallgoldsmith.ai. Please log in and check that out. For somebody at that age and stage of his career, I think it's very inspiring, because I think it opens up a new vista for us, because if we move beyond the fear and the anxiety, perhaps there are possibilities to collaborate, some level of collaboration which can exist between humans and AI. So while we will figure out the answers as we go along, but I do feel that beyond the fear, there exist multiple possibilities if we just lean into it and try and figure things out as we go along. So yeah, that's my answer to the fears and risks associated.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Richa, for this wonderful perspective. Now, on the dais, fortunately, we have everyone from BFSI sector, and that said, BFSI sector, most parts of BFSI sector are also facing significant frontline attrition, right? And that's a problem that most CEOs and CHROs are trying to solve. And how can generative AI help in reducing attrition in high attrition industries? So I would request Sharad to have his thoughts shared with us.
Good afternoon to all of you. I never imagined that this question will be asked to me here also, because this is the question which gets asked to us in all the board meetings. You know, my colleagues from the insurance sector would relate to it. It's a very high churn industry. There are lots and lots of initiatives being done today, but this is one area which is still not fixed. You know, it's also about representing data on how you are representing it in terms of attrition, but with the insurance sector for almost 15 years plus, I have seen it in the larger companies, smaller companies, the attrition is a problem. And more so when you are scaling up your business. My perspective is a little different on can it really fix it? Can the AI or generative AI fix the attrition? My thinking is that AI can only give you insights, which is currently missing. You know, today we work on a lot of guesstimate, HR wisdom, so to say. You know, the high attrition is because people are not being managed well, they're not being paid well. There is no scientific data point which is coming in as to where you are witnessing that fizzling out of people. If the AI can actually give you, today whatever AI tools are available, at least with whatever my knowledge and awareness is, it is largely focusing on the recruitment, the funneling part, you know, how do you really fix your talent acquisition, maybe some bit of it on LMS and all of that. I haven't seen any tool which really gives you predictive analytics on can you really fix it. There is a human intervention will still be required in that, but yes, I think today what you miss is some very sharp insights coming in as to where you are, why you are losing people, what are the data points. You know, if we get those sharper inputs and of course back it up with the human intervention, wisdom, analytics, dissecting that information and then coming out with the action plan, of course it can have an impact on it. You know, I heard it in the morning, you guys are working on something. If your tool can really help us fixing that particular piece, I'm sure we'll be able to fix it. But this is a problem which is pertinent across BFSI, more so in life insurance because it's a very, very human intensive and it's a push product. So, you know, you face a lot of attrition at the frontline level and they are the ones who are producing. But I'm sure if there are tools available, if there are those sharper insights which can be given to the HR team, to the business team, we can definitely fix it.
So let me also welcome Praveen, and thankfully we finally have a representation of manufacturing also on this. So that, you know, on one hand the sector is addressing the problem of attrition, and on the other hand, since the sector is highly competitive, it's always a question of innovation. And innovation cannot happen without collaboration. And therefore, how can generative AI help innovation and collaboration? Rajesh, would you like to throw some light on it?
Thanks, Prashant. I think very, very pertinent point. I would start by saying that AI is something which is born from RI, the real intelligence. It's always going to be serving the RI, and hopefully in the long run also it's going to be the same thing. So essentially it's a very, very powerful tool in the hands of RI. Essentially it's a lever, and you can actually multiply the impact that you can create using your real intelligence, the humans, you know, their real intelligence. So this is a tool which actually you know, incrementally, which actually, you know, helps you enhance your impact to a large extent, whether it is innovation, whether it is business performance, or any of the things that we do in our day-to-day lives as well, not just business. Coming to specifically this point of innovation and collaboration, I think innovation is first of all about a culture. It's not just, no, you don't do innovation just like that. You need to have a culture in the organization of innovation. When we are talking about AI, by the nature of AI, it's a very fast evolving thing. You know, every day there are new changes happening. Hence, it actually creates an environment where people are constantly looking for doing something new, finding a new solution, working and looking at the data from a very different point of views, which normally we don't do in our day-to-day lives. Or maybe humans have a limitation crunching those numbers and maybe establishing that correlation so fast, which AI is adept at. So I think that is where I feel that culture, including the learning culture, it's because of the nature of AI. When you implement in an organization, you start adopting various AI solutions, it helps you become or rather drive that kind of culture within employees. So once this kind of culture is set in the organization, the next thing is that, how it can help us in innovation. I feel it's largely because when you look at, say for example, a problem and you try to solve it, you need various lenses, okay? You need multiple lenses to look at it. You need to look at all the interplay of various parameters which can actually potentially have an impact on the final outcome. That is where an AI system gives us a very holistic kind of view of the problem and hence can suggest possible solutions. That's where decision making becomes far more easier, and that's when you actually look at something new and innovative. So I think this is one area where I feel is very, very important. Secondly, this also drives a culture of collaboration, because when you're working on an AI project, typically you require data. AI is nothing but, no, you need to get data. Now data comes from for your customers, clients, partners, your people. You have departments, like customer service, marketing, sales, everybody participating, not just the data scientists and the technology team. So essentially it again boils down to the same thing. For this to be successful, you need various people to come together. If they don't, AI is going to fail. That's why by design I would say this is also in a way helping organizations collaborate better. In our organization as well, at Nippon AMC, we have been trying to drive new projects around it. And one of the important ones that we have implemented is around customer behavior, understanding the business through customer behavior. So how we can actually drive this in a very scientific manner, where the customer behavior is analyzed, and that gives us a kind of a lead as to which customer to target, what kind of products, when. And similarly, there is an AI-based churn model that we have. Both of these have led to a good amount of lift in our sales as well. So I think these are innovative solutions that we have looked at. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh, for the insights. Now, there's a lot of data, whether it is attrition management, there's innovation, collaboration, etc. A lot of data, sales, engagement, performance, huge amount of data gets generated. Point is, how do we make use of it? How do we go beyond generating data to utilizing the data? And that's where I would request Suresh to share his thoughts on how we can integrate these data sets to make meaningful conclusions and act on it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I even start, I would request you not to guess my age, okay? Because I'm going to talk something which is reality and which I have gone through. There was a time when email was not known to us. There was Lotus, MS-DOS, which we used to use. And it was so difficult to pick up that you have to go for a course to basically understand it, okay? then that big floppy, then it came small floppies, then it was MS Office, and then now we are talking about artificial intelligence, okay? And throughout this journey we have picked up, okay? We had been kind of learning and picking up that, and we had been ensuring that challenges we overcome. But the challenge which is available now is machine has started becoming smarter than you, because we require an upgradation. So we go for a workshop or we go for a training, then you get upgraded. But this machine gets upgraded every day. It has so much of data point which you cannot think about, and it can give you a conclusion which you cannot conclude, basically. So we had been operating human resources professionals in isolation, you know. We have never thought about how the business data can get integrated with the human resources data, where it empowers our business guys to take a decision on a person, okay? A machine can throw numbers that from this background, with this kind of experience, within this time, this kind of set of people can start doing this work. And they can prove and hit the target which we want to do. So the machine is so intelligent that it can give the data point which we cannot give. And I feel that AI is going to be complementary for us, how we are going to use it. If you think it is a challenge for us, obviously it is going to be a challenge for us. But if we think that is going to complement us, then we can use it effectively, because the machine will not be able to replace human being by any means. The human touch is going to be more critical in this era. So you see today the psychologists, the psychiatrists, or the counselors are in demand, because human being cannot be replaced, because that emotional support and the touch which human being can give, a machine can never be able to give. But the machine AI can help us taking a proper decision, which is because it can pick up every data point if you have integrated your every data point. We had been working in isolation, where we used to take decision on people based on our assessment, and we used to go to business and say that, I think this is the person who can succeed, or this is the person who can be successful in this particular role. Now that work machine can do. So when I look at what level now the HR using the AI, I feel it is just taking off, we are taking off the repetitive work which we feel that machine can do better than human being. So we are doing the work of, like somebody said in recruitment, if I had to rank the candidate based on whatever skill set I want, it can rank and give it to you. This is the person as per your defined norms. He comes first, or this comes second. It's a basic job, okay? And in onboarding, it can just check all the document instead of human being doing that and putting a lot of efforts. And it can just check and throw exception report saying that this is not matching, that's not matching. You pick up the exception and start correcting it. So that is the level of things which we are doing. But I feel it is going to go beyond, where what decision you cannot take, it can help you in complementing and taking that decision, because it will throw all data point to you saying that based on all these data point, you can take that decision. So if I had to say, when I have looked at HR taking decision on emotions, taking decision sometimes partially with data, partially with their gut feel, it is going to be more data driven, and AI is going to absolutely help you taking 99% of the time right decision. So I feel it has to be used properly so that we are able to kind of get that data to take right decision. And I think after some time, the machine will start taking decision better than you. So it is better that we learn it and we ensure that we are able to take right decisions more than the machine, or better than the machine. So I hope I answered the question, Prashant.
Oh, very well, and fantastic perspective and fantastic thoughts. Now we've spoken about the attrition. Typically, I hope the guests will agree with me, the attrition has two components. One is perhaps we hired wrong, and second is if we hired right, then we probably could not engage them. So can AI help us in hiring right? So I'll ask Homi to share his thoughts on what AI can do in hiring right.
you. Thank you, Prashant. Okay. So it's an honor to be in the panel and, share this dice with all the panel members. Interestingly, members, did share their views, and AI, the way we look at it, or what we are, going to experience in the next 5 to 10 years, is going to be a high increase of usage. And in the usage, of course, one of the element for all the HR folks here, is hiring as a process or hiring as an engagement. For all organizations, one of the biggest area that we always want to maintain and improve is our engagement with the candidate and the brand of the organization. Now, a very I'd like to share an example and experience with you all is about this vehicle called Tesla. In the previous panel we heard about humility element in the organization, in organizations like Tesla, Amazon, and Microsoft. Here I would like to just share an experience of the vehicle Tesla. If I can ask, how many of you all have actually driven the vehicle Tesla in India or abroad? No, or be a part of, be in the vehicle. Anybody has an experience with Tesla? Okay. So what the vehicle does, it's so intelligent. Okay. It's, of course, their claim is it's a driverless car. You're in the car. You sit. You just share the destination that you want to go. The vehicle starts. It navigates through the traffic signals and the route, and throughout the route, actually, what one does is every 4 minutes, you have to just hold the steering wheel. Just to give, let the vehicle know that there's somebody there, so it doesn't stop. So that experience itself is about navigating. How it navigates through the entire route and it takes you to destination. Similarly, in the candidate experience that we talk about. Now we have in our regular business, you have chatbots and AI assist which help you in all the everyday operations of marketing and customer support. In HR, again, in hiring, you have chatbots which can actually help navigate and guide the candidate on their journey as to which stage of the hiring process they are in and how do they move from one stage to the other stage, and is there a match, first of all. That's the kind of navigation you can do. You have HR tech platforms like Paradox. You have Finum people who actually they actually help the candidate through the entire process, and this part of engagement, this entire coordination actually saves a lot of time. Saves a lot of time for the HR team, saves a lot of time for the candidate as well. The candidate, if has a question in the night, any time of the day, can actually refer to the chatbot and can get a quick answer from there. So I think that experience itself is something similar to what a Tesla does in vehicle can be done and experience out here with the technology. The second part in hiring is there have been there are a couple of HR tech companies in India who have been doing a lot of work on the first stage of hiring, which is the first funnel. So the technology helps screen through the profiles, and it's not only in a couple of seconds. It has a power of screening through about 50 to 100 profiles in a couple of seconds, and that's the tool that one wants to leverage and understand. So the way I look at the tool is that what data had done, it helped create and help discover a lot of information. The AI tool will help us discover the entire experience of the information which is there. So the opportunity is massive, and I think that's what I could just comment on it. Thank you.
Prashant, can I add something?
Sure. Please go ahead.
So I don't know how many of you are trying to use AI or data point to take the selection decisions. Currently, there are tools available which scans through the social media, trying to see the religious view, how the person behave in the group, how he makes comment, okay, that comes as a data point to you, which may help to see whether the person is getting aligned to your culture, aligned to your organization or not. And there are intelligence tool which kind of analyzes the voice of, if you are recording the whole interview, it can analyze where the candidate gave a right answer or a wrong answer, whether he is trying to fool around, okay. Third, the body language analysis can give you also about the personality of the individual. So the system is becoming, or the whole, the tech is becoming so advanced that it can take better decision than us. So I feel all these things, if you put across or use it for your benefit, I think your decision will be 99 or 95% at least correct on the candidate. So I thought I should add that point, which really helps you.
Just a contra view to this. And I always believe that the human intervention is very, very important. The AI will, and I'm not sure, maybe we'll have to watch it, but will it be able to kind of give you the contextual situation? I think that's where the wisdom and the knowledge will come. If a candidate, and as he said that the social media insights and all of that, what was the context? What was the situation? Can the AI really dissect that? Can it really give us that intelligent insight as to what mindset was that person in when he made that comment? So I think it has to be a fine mix and combination. It can give you data points, and I think that's the need of the hour right now. Now, how intelligently do you really use it? And I think that's where the wisdom, that's where your experience, that's where the upskilling of the HR folks will come in play, that you are able to kind of give the perspectives right.
That is the skill which I am trying to tell, that we have to pick it up. No, like you take a personality test, and when you do the personality test, you just have it as a reference point. That is not a decision point. That's what I was just trying to. I'm just trying to say that this comes as an aid to you, complement you to take a decision. So that is what the point I was. And we have to upgrade ourselves to read it intelligently and take the call on that. Thanks. Sorry.
Absolutely. I think with due respect to everybody, I think there is a famous joke which talks about you're actually not as good as how you look in social media, not as bad as how you look on Aadhaar, right? So I think, but yeah, it does give a lot of insights, but that has to be seen in the context. I fully agree with that. I think at best AI can be first part. It can be a great screening tool. Okay, where you have certain parameterized things, and it can screen in a whiff, thousands of applications. So when you're talking about large number of hirings, it can be a great help. I think no human can do. So this is where productivity angle comes in. But when it comes to making sense of things and actually see whether there is a culture fitment or not, what kind of values the person have, I think those kind of things AI will not be able to tell you. Value systems and all those things. What kind of the outlook the person has, whether the person is a positive guy, a negative person, becomes too demotivated immediately. When you put a person in a tight corner, how does the person respond? I think a lot of these very behavioral kind of things, which I feel is going to be very difficult. Maybe at some point of time, you never know. The way things are advancing, maybe 50 years hence, when probably none of us are going to be around in the jobs, and probably some of us not here at all. I think it may evolve to that level. But like when psychometric tools happened maybe 3-4 decades back, and even now we use it, it's only at best an input. It's ultimately our so I think very rightly said that. Thank you.
I think Praveen was nodding his head. He has a point to make. Please go ahead.
No, I have a similar point. In fact, I was wanting to talk about the skills that will be required. The most advanced Tesla car still wanted 2 hands to be laid on it every 4th minute. Okay? So, however advanced we make a AI mechanism even in HR, there is a lot of skills that is involved that human resource professionals need to have. The first one I would say is their ability to use these digital tools. Because with the invent of technology and advent of it, a lot of things have gone overboard. For people to be abreast with that kind of technologies and to be able to use it is the primary skill I will feel. With AI comes with a lot of cyber security issues as well. If you're a data intensive organization, then you have to be very careful about what data is in public, who is analyzing your data, where this data is stored, does it have access to anybody, can this be breached, Can this be used by somebody? Something very important for even HR professionals to know when it comes to choice of using of tools or making a decision in terms of how to use it. The third skill I would say is the analytical capability of HR professionals. How well you use this data. All of us spoke about this. Data is in multitude. Many people have it segregated. Many people have it streamlined in form of one system. Data populated over 5 years, 10 years to make inferences. But do we have the capability to make right inferences and be able to take some strong decisions? Not decisions standalone, not decisions in silos, but decisions to help organizations build strategic content to it, because people can make or break organizations, definitely. The right people on top or right people in decision making areas will definitely impact in terms of organization's productivity. All of us will agree to this. That is why we always keep looking for niche talent, the highly efficient talent in the industry. There's this war for talent that is happening, and we kept talking about this attrition that happened in big stage and all of this. So ability to use this, analyze and make decisions that are in line with and integrated with the business strategy is something which is very, very important. Now, coming to the touchy-feel points that I was nodding my head for, is eventually, basis this data, HR is supposed to take some calls on people. If we are not sensitive about how we take those calls or how we deal with that calls, then life is going to be very difficult for all of us. Okay? After all, data, machines are on one side. Impact of it or eventuality of what we want to do with that information is going to be impacting human beings. And each of us, when subjected to that same feeling, the way that we would feel is what we should have in our mind, which we call as empathy, when we treat that decisions upon or subject that decisions upon somebody. So these are certain important skills as HR professionals, I feel, with the advent of AI, that we need to keep in mind and ingrain in ourselves for us to be able to be successfully using AI.
This is wonderful, wonderful. Extending this question further, Praveen, beyond HR, how do you think the skills have to change to co-opt AI in the work and still people not getting obsolete?
See, certain decisions that we said, we spoke in the last point also, irrespective of that being human resources as a domain or any function, it could be an operation domain. I come from a manufacturing, metal and mining company. We do a lot of supply chain activities. We do a lot of logistics activities. Data throws in a lot of inputs. We use ocean freight. We use road freight. A lot of times when we put up this data together, it gives serious inputs for us to have to introspect and retrospect in terms of, have we taken right decisions at various points? 5 years down the line, a decision that was taken in a sales function, which felt very, very appropriate at that point in time, would sound stupid at this point in time, really, given the context in which we are operating and given the environment in which we are operating, which is very, very volatile and exposed to. So for every function, it is very, very important for them to use this data and make some critical decisions. Say, for example, we all spoke about Amazon, Flipkart, and all of these, even Walmart. They all make their decisions in terms of sale pattern based on how the customer satisfaction has been, how the preferences of customers have been, how they have used it to their advantages. So analysis of this information across different functions will give them a lot of utility. We can make right decisions and avoid wrong decisions. Also, we can invest in the right platform and avoid to waste money in different areas which do not reap results to us. This does not happen basis the gut feeling or the concept of blink. It has to happen through the basis of data. That is where I feel across different functions, the business gets benefited basis the use of AI and data.
This is really fantastic, cutting across functions. Now, coming back to a little bit of focus stuff that we were discussing some time back on this whole hiring and AI in hiring, etc. My question is that will AI disrupt the current set of HRMS solutions and especially ATS solutions, or will it coexist? So Homi, what your thoughts are?
So there are, I mean, if I have to play it safe, because all the HR folks are here, I'll say, yeah, it's going to coexist. But if going by fellow panel member who just mentioned how we utilize the technology and our usage of it, our understanding of the AI technology, what we do about it, basis that if we have to predict, AI will disrupt technology like ATS. And I mean, ATS is going to dissolve in the years to come. Because what it's going to do, if you look at the even the recruitment pattern or what's happening in recruitment is that the whole focus is shifting towards skills when we are looking at scale hire, which is there. And while we look at the scale hire, the tool, the AI tool, actually helps us reach to that individual, match the skill, and produce them as a fit to the organization. Now this tool becomes actually a partner with the hiring manager, which replaces the ATS in future. And there's a possibility of replacement of ATS in future, because that the entire time that the hiring manager spends in actually tracking the progress of hiring actually is completely off and dissolved, because the tool itself is partnering with you. So that's my view on this, and I'd like to hear from others as well.
Any supplementary thoughts, anyone, or contrary thoughts?
It is my personal view. What I feel is that the HR tech which is available currently, all HRMS which we implement in our organization, it's a basic foundation which whole organization runs with, and which has a lot of impact on statutory requirement. It has various impact on the processes, etc. So that as a tech will not get disturbed immediately. The AI is going to be complementary for making the current system more intelligent. Just like we were talking about, will it work in kind of help us in filtering the candidate, right candidate, whether it can help in nudging the candidate, communicate with the candidate, do the initial interview by voice bot. Okay, all those things will be taken away, and the hiring manager or the recruitment manager has to spend very less time on all this which he is to do, basically. So that is going to make his life easier, but it will not completely take away. But and I see the next stage.
Are you saying that hiring teams can be reduced to half or 1/4?
Absolutely, without any doubt.
So folks.
So I'm sorry, but that's the reality. There are chances that 90% of the population may not agree with me, but that's the truth, which I feel is going to happen, because chartboard given a set of questions to kind of ask the candidate and filter and prioritize and see that this is maybe much suitable as per your defined requirement. So that will be taken care. Scheduling interview, getting into your ID, set a team call, scheduling the interview, following up with the candidate. All these things can be offloaded to, yeah. So I feel we require a slim team which is more analytical in nature, who can, like all my panel members said, that how to use the AI for the decision making appropriately, very smartly, is going to be requirement. So the first stage is that it's going to complement. And second stage, I see that all the HRMS which is existing today, they have to kind of embed AI in their system. Otherwise, they are not going to survive. And the third, maybe after some time, maybe it can disturb the way the currently HRMS operates. So I feel it will be in 3 phases. We will see a lot of changes, which I don't know whether I will be in profession or not, but I feel these are the changes which is going to come up.
Let me just add to what Suresh was saying. I think our entire conversation around AI cannot be a siloed conversation. It isn't just disrupting recruitment or engagement or retention or learning and development. It is disrupting not just HR, it is disrupting the world of work. And I think that is the conversation that we also need to pay attention to as HR professionals in the room, right? So on an average, I get 7 to 10 emails every week about the latest AI tool which will help me screen faster, source faster, do virtual interviews with candidate, and I'm talking bulk hiring here, right? So of course recruitment is already disrupted. This is old news, right? What is important is how do you approach the future from here on? Because simply put, if I only keep looking at it in the silos of this part of HR is disrupted or that part of HR is disrupted, you have to sit back and look at the entire HR and business operating model. AI is disrupting business. It is disrupting the way we work. It is disrupting the way our jobs will shape up from here on. It is disrupting who the workforce will be. 10 years, 15 years, I don't know, I can't put a number to it. From now, our workforce may not be humans alone. Our workforce could be human plus robots plus AI. What are the rules of the game then, right? I think those are the conversations to be had. My simple, I think, invitation to everybody here today is just to think about it, is that the conversation is not about human or AI. The conversation is human and AI, because AI is here to stay whether you like it or not. And the sooner we learn more about it, we learn how to figure this out, and humans are good at adapting. We have been around for all these millions of years because we have learned to adapt. So I think that is some of the superpower beyond all the wisdom and judgment that all of us on stage have been talking about. That is what it will take to succeed and win not just the war for talent, but the war of the workforce of the future, as I see it.
Absolutely. Just complementing to what she said. So this subject of AI has been there from probably 1965, 70s. And we have also managed this change very well. So things used to happen very face-to-face quite a time ago. It took only one COVID for us to change. It just took one COVID for us to change the entire way of working. So the AI will challenge the existing HRMS solutions. It is required to challenge. That is when we will also evolve into building something which is more innovative and which is, which is excelling and challenging the existing status quo. So it is required to be this way, and we better adapt to this situation and build our skills accordingly instead of being bothered about who gets replaced and what happens if robots replace us.
That's absolutely fantastic, and two of you giving a new direction to your discussion. I would request all the panelists to give us their thoughts on the future of work with AI and the impact on productivity, because the boards and the shareholders who the boards represent are always interested in better profits, which will always result from better productivity. So the workplace and the productivity. Homi.
Just one word, multiply. That's what will be the expectation by the board. Okay, I mean that's what is going to happen when we look at productivity. So multiplication of the entire output that is produced.
I think I'll try and do this in one word as well. Exponential. AI is exponential.
It may not be one word. You can go ahead.
But I'm going to just go with the theme in the interest of time. But exponential is what AI is, and that is how the organization is expected to grow. So how do we enable that thinking?
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think I really look forward to very exciting times because with AI, what is going to happen is it's going to have a huge impact on the productivity of people across levels. And for everybody, what is going to happen is the work is going to move up the value chain. That is what is going to happen. So all the base level work will keep on going to AI. That is one is the base level work, and possibly the second is, which is high level, which is purely data driven, analysis driven, and inference drawing driven. Okay, based on which you will form your strategies. So that is the high level part. But while it's going to be a disruption, we hear about disruption, but from a business point of view, it's a big enabler. I look at it not as a disruption for probably those organizations who are today having those products, okay, being used by all the HR folks. But for the organization, it's going to be a big enabler going forward. So I think productivity definitely is going to keep on enhancing with all this. If you remember, all of us remember the computerization when it happened in late 80s or mid 80s probably in India. I think we all know how much it has helped everybody. The same thing, anything new which comes in, and it's an initial kind of somewhat of fear, maybe xenophobia, all of that. But definitely this is a very, very powerful thing, I feel, to drive the business further and increase productivity for everybody. Thank you.
You know, my view would be, I think the board, shareholders, investors, CEOs, what are they looking for? They're looking for speed of execution. They're looking for an efficient operation, which means that you have to keep the cost under control. Any of such things will call for an investment, and I think there will be a reverse pressure on HR and on business to really achieve all these three things. So, and adaptability, you know, we are saying that the tool will give you all insights, it will be sharper, but we also have to understand that you deal with business folks, you deal with stakeholders. How are they going to be accepting it versus what was the older regime of working? You know, we all believe and have a lot of passion on having conversations. Now the data gives you some insight, and the conversation has to be very, very to the point. So adaptability is going to be a very, very important part. But I think if all is done flawlessly, of course it will have an impact on productivity.
Disruptive growth is what something every business owner will like to see. If that has to happen, there has to be some happy customers. If the customers are happy, the growth will definitely be disruptive, as long as you can reach to them. So the most important way I feel for a business to be successful is to take the pulse of the customer. If AI helps us in taking the pulse of the customer and is able to reach the last mile and to cover the entire lot that we intend to cover, then we know the preferences. We know the preferences very, very clearly, and thereafter fine-tuning the offering of any product, of any business to that base, that customer base, is going to be a driving factor for success. And if you have to do this at large scale, we can think of a B2C kind of a business. If we were to launch a toothpaste, there used to be people who used to take samples and go around houses. We cannot do this now. So we do an experience collection from a supermarket or from an online buying pattern. So you get huge amount of data that is readily available for people to make some decisions. And you have covered hundreds and multitudes of people and their preferences for you to make some valuable decision making. The size of packaging, the type of product, the flavor, the fragrance, whatever you may call it. If you're able to adapt and provide such offerings to all of your customer base, then the growth is disruptive, multifold.
Thank you, Praveen.
So
yes,
I agree with all my fellow panel members, and what I feel that, what I foresee is that we are going to have the smartest human being working in the work environment, highly productive, analytical, data-driven decision, and AI going to be the friend for him, and we are going to be much smarter than machine. That much what I foresee. And in terms of business number, yeah, is going to be who is the smartest company having smartest people to manage the AI appropriately, going to have multifolded growth and profitability. That's what I personally feel.
Thank you, Suresh. Thanks a lot. I just want to share two pieces, one research and one information from a startup in Chicago. So Booth School had done a research and multi-year longitudinal research where they found that the interview recommendation for hiring and actual performance on the job, the correlation was only 50%. And I'm not saying that as a research, saying. So, you know, that's like toss of a coin. Why do I interview? I toss a coin and take a person or reject a person. And that's also 50%, right? Now, the question, therefore, is that will AI do 60% instead of 50%? The other piece is a startup. I don't know what their valuation is, but their funding is $1 billion. And the reason I know is they somehow contacted us, and I was intrigued and I wanted to know how did they come to know about us, but that's different. They are a startup in the space of diagnosing cancer. And their claim is that their diagnosis is better than any other doctor in the world because they are assimilating all the journals, all the diagnostic history by all the big doctors, and they have tied up with some 7 universities, and most large universities in United States have a medical school, which is very big. So all the research, and therefore they're saying that a doctor has only access to so much and access to so much information, whereas our system has access to much more information. Where they're struggling and where the doctors come back into action is that while they diagnose and say, hey, finally, person X is suffering from cancer or not, way ahead of a doctor or a normal diagnostic test telling, but where they fail and fail miserably is they can't determine why, or what parts, and what treatment, and that's where the doctor comes in. So the first research is little alarming, but the second research is little hopeful.
Good news is doctors are not going to get replaced.
Yes. So hopefully HR will also not get replaced. Right. So with that, I would like to throw open the floor to the audience to ask questions to the panelists.
Thank you so much for sharing your views on the AI. As a student of AI, and of course, we keep on discussing with Prashant on the different aspects of HR. I just would like to add on what Prashant said here. So for the folks who are here from the HR side, I just would like to tell that from 1955 itself, the artificial intelligence is within us. I can't correlate, else it will be religious, but I feel that even in Mahabharata, somebody like person who was telling all the stories which was happening on the war field to the king, he also have something which is AI. So I'm not using the name, that's why. so on 1955, McGurty itself, he used the word called artificial intelligence. But the shocking fact here is, along with Dr. McGurty, Dr. Rajagopal, who is from India, from Hyderabad, he coined the term called artificial intelligence. Now coming to the study which Prashant shared here, 49% worldwide, in the October report of Stanford, it says that the report which is generated by the AI, which only talks about the kind of career opportunities which an employee is having in the organization, is 100% accurate. 45% of the data which is driven from the AI tool, which indicates what kind of learning input that is required by individual employee, that is 100% correct. And 90% of the AI generated report, which is generated from the AI tools which is available worldwide, either small or big, which indicates what kind of upskill program which is available for employees, that is 100% accurate. Rest, everything still is under questionable, commentable, whatever you call it. In terms of the intelligence which is used in the interview itself, we did a research for 50 interviews where we appeared in some of the companies by changing our own profile, okay, as a student, as not as HR, right? And you will be shocked to hear, we checked even on the diversity front and at the same time, the kind of the skill set which is presented by the employee. It was not at all accurately picked up by the artificial intelligence. So at the end, it looks like that the innovation and the human, which we call it as, parallelly work together with the AI. So it's still under the evolution. Dr. NG, worldwide, he is the person who is doing a hell lot of research in this area. So that's what I was trying to correlate here and share with you. But I would like to understand how much of AI which we are using as a HR in driving any HR or any HR driven data or the decisions, if you can share with us.
Sure. So I can share some examples of what we've done and what my team definitely partners with AI for. We use it extensively in our learning and development. So if you go to ChatGPT, you can actually train the bot to design. Instructional design essentially can actually come from the GPT. This is the 3.5 or 4. I'll have to check on that. So learning and development definitely. Giving a keynote. You can go to ChatGPT and if you learn prompt engineering yourself, you can use it extensively to improve your own productivity at any level in the organization. Right? The first proposal your boss asks you for on anything. There are GPTs and AI tools which exist for pretty much everything now, right? So these are some of the things that, I know we've experimented with in the last 6-8 months, our recruitment framework, our applicant tracking system, our ask of our HRMS provider, which we were just talking about, right? The product roadmap for them. All of these have AI tools now either woven in or in the product roadmap coming up, because it's an ask not just from one single organization, but across organizations as well. So, those are just some live examples of how some of us are using. Suresh, you want to add?
No, if you're asking specifically what we have deployed, so I will tell you the complexity of my organization. We are in more than 4,000 locations. We have 23,000 employees. How can I give a last mile connect, the same feel of what I onboard in the head office, where personally we do it, okay? Across the country, how can I ensure that the employee who's coming in or employee who's there has the same kind of feel of HR services, So we have picked up 9 processes, and we have started with 3 processes now. We have picked up all our pain area. We have picked up all our kind of routine works, which we can offload to the machine, okay? And we do much smarter work than that, okay? So if I have to give the first phase, we have picked up ESI, PF, that even number creation, etc., is a pain, okay? Getting into the government website, picking up all the data point, putting all the data point, submitting it, and sometimes it is down, up. So it takes at least 20 to 30 minutes. So now the machine has started doing for us, okay? So we have picked up those kind of area where we want to just ensure that RPA is getting implemented so that I can take off my real resources out from there and they can do better job than that. So we have picked up all the area which any employee will have in the life cycle, from the recruitment till retirement, exit processes, which we want to make it smarter. So I think by end of this financial year, we should have all the 9 processes done. So does that answer your, or do you have any specific question? Thanks.
We have at Tipon also, we have started using the chat, GPT thing. So that is one area which is we've implemented in HR, which is around query management. So a lot of these things, when any employee wants to know about the organization, the policies, people, etc., that is available there. One more thing which we have done is the basically facial recognition based entry. And so security point of view, anybody who enters, there's a facial recognition system that we have put. We are also looking at how we can integrate with the attendance system. Okay, thereby making the moment you enter, you don't need to actually log in. Your login is already done. Okay, so that is there. On the business side, I think we have, and I think probably I touched upon somewhere, is where we are looking at, giving insights to the RMs who are going actually, what kind of, so they have all the data which comes in terms of what are their KPIs. And wherever there are opportunity for improvement, okay, it'll throw up basically suggested actions in terms of where to go, which counter to go, which partner to look at, and things like that. So that is where this is in a way going to help us in performance management of the people.
So,
but long way, I think it's a long way. I mean, you just started.
Again, I work for an life insurance company. We are almost 4,000 people, 140 offices across the country. Almost 70 to 80% of the people are frontline salespeople. Exactly the same challenge as what he faces. How can you really give experience of onboarding them the way somebody is getting onboarded at head office? So I think our first thing which we did was our internal team. We have an engineering team which created a tool on Python, which is the success profiler. Very important for us, who are we onboarding, because it has a direct linkage to the attrition. We created a success profile. This tool helped us look at the top 100 people who are successful in the company, who have been part of the organization for more than 5 years. Where do they come from? What are their drivers? What are their performance patterns? That's the kind of profile we would want to have. So it's a 30-pointer thing. When any CV comes in, this is thrown into the system and it throws us the number. If it is more than 30, it goes into the filtration of interviewing. So I think that's one thing which we have done, and it has helped us. We have seen our attrition dropping by almost 7 to 8% initial days, but I think that's one thing which we have done. The second thing is on the employee onboarding experience. We have again built some internal systems where it gives us the trigger. You know, we are a regulated entity. Most of the FLS will have to complete some defined training programs. So this tool gives us an indication that if the batch of January 2024 was to complete a training by March, have they really completed it or not? So there is a back-end machinery which is working on it, and it pops up the alert that these are the number of people who have not done it. It has a regulatory impact, so that's the second thing which we have done. The third thing we are doing is, we have a target to do away with the employee help desk. So we are right now working on it. There are some 5,000 queries which we have collected, which can be put on a machine. And if those queries are anything to do with those 5,000, it will have an automatic response. In the next 2 months, if that model which we are looking at works well with us, we'll do away with that. But I think, as I said, very, very basic elementary stuff right now, not a very high-end thing. And of course, ChatGPT, we had a very large internal communication team. बहुत सारी mails, बहुत सारे communication जाते थे. I think we are now leveraging that tool, on drafting communication, fine-tuning it. So we have seen that efficiency coming in from not having so many people on the internal communication side, and kind of have a very, very concentrated, regimented team there, and utilize ChatGPT.
One small addition to this entire gamut, while I also agree that HR has a long way to go in terms of integrating AI to practical usage and spreading it across all sub-functions of HR. What we've done really well recently is to partner with a e-learning partner consultant with us, who does a fantastic job in terms of understanding the learning preferences to an extent that from the profile it starts suggesting learning preferences. From the trainings that they intend to take, it starts suggesting preferences. From competitors in the industry who handle the same profile, it starts picking and suggesting certain things that could be useful as an industry kind of input. So these are the learning inputs that we get through this particular AI intervention in our learning solutions. This is where we have.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, hi. I have a couple of things to just add. Two things actually. I think Mr. Sharath said something about the help desk queries, actually, that is one. And then he talked about some learning preferences. Now, my point is, HR, human resources, was the department created to do the job which no other function was doing in any organization, to take care of people, the personal touch actually. So, I'm not sure what is right or wrong. My query is whether by, I don't know what is the word, by eliminating the human angle to the interaction between the people, your employee and you. Now, the number may be thousands or lakhs. Then you need to have those many people who can touch base with them. A lot of organizations, and I'm talking about a huge, very big organization in India whom I have worked for. I have seen the point in time wherein a plant used to have around 8 to 10 people in HR. Now there is only one person, and that too from an outsourced big agency. Okay, so now when they talk to us, they say, "Arey boss, आपके समय ना HR में बात अलग था, अभी तो HR है ही नहीं." Now the point is, where do they go? And on the query point of it, the bots. I mean, I don't know how many of you you like calling on any banking or any insurance that call center, and the kind of they put you on hold and all those kind of thing. So my point is, how
those
are we
call centers? Even human beings are bots, right?
No. My point is, So my point is, in HR, how are we trying to do? And coming on the learning point of it, see, we say there is a job, there is a JD, and we try to search a person for that candidate. There are candidates who say, match my resume with this JD. They create the JD, they get shortlisted, and so my point is, this is all creating so much of, I would say, it is going to create so much of mess. Again, you had one point, are we equipped to make those kind of investments in the organizations, and how many organizations can afford to do that? The second point is the skill level or the workforce. Do we have those many people to manage those complexities actually in going forward actually? Thank you.
Yeah, so when I say that we are doing away with the employee help desk, I don't mean that the human interface is going to go away. I think if anyone who is part of a distributed setup, 140 offices, the kind of queries you get are very elementary. My attendance was not recorded. It was not regularized. I do not know what my leave balance is. What is the health insurance policy I have? I submitted my claim. I'm not getting an answer. Today, even if you have a help desk, you know, the largest complaint when I go and visit my branch offices, nobody answers my call. Nobody responds on my email. So in any case, today also that functionality, though we have a help desk, is not working to 100%. What we are trying to say is that the elementary queries, which are more establishment matters, which are the day-to-day matters, should get answered automatically through a bot. And that's where we are collecting it. But when it comes to a complex matter, you know, where is my career going? Why did not I make it to my promotion this time? You know, there is a problem with my manager. You can't put those queries on a chatbot. It's suicidal then. Then of course, then the HR team is not required. So I think the element, and I think, you know, my experience of 27, 28 years is employees do not get cheesed off with very high level of queries. They get cheesed off with very elementary level queries. Yeah, you know, my promotion letter did not come on time. My 5-day salary got deducted. My manager did not regularize my attendance. I got a performance improvement letter when I was just there on 80% of my performance. I was wrongly issued an absconding letter when I had informed my manager about it. I'm giving you real life examples. You know, queries like this, you don't require any human interface. There is an automatic, response which has to go. Complex matters around career, complex manager-subordinate relationship issues, career decisions, LMS issues, learning and development issues. I think there you require interface. No second thoughts on that. Interesting one input. You know, we have initiated this concept called Aapki Awaaz. Any of the Mancom members, the top leadership team, including the MD and CEO, when we travel to different locations, we hear these kind of things. And you know, you won't believe, we type it from our phone to the teams that these are the queries coming in, please respond back. The queries are all around this. Promotion policy nahi pata, incentive policy nahi pata, meri attendance regularized nahi hoti, HR team jawab nahi deti. So you know, you need to have fix to that, because this is creating negativity, this is creating impact on productivity, this is creating impact on your attrition. So I would rather want to put my energy on fixing that particular piece.